Hi, my name's Christine, and welcome to the Tarot Grove YouTube channel. This is a channel that is attached to my independent Tarot and Oracle deck shop called the Tarot Grove, and it's mostly dedicated to doing interviews with the creators of the beautiful decks that I am stocking. And I'm very lucky that all of these wonderful people are giving me some of their time to talk about their work and their creative process. And today I have the wonderful Mari from Mari in the Sky. She's the creator of the Gentle Tarot and now the upcoming My Friend Fire Companion Oracle deck, which is very exciting because that is like right on the cusp of being shipped, right? We're like in the end process.
Yeah.
So yeah, hi, and Kitten.
Okay, this is Momo. Hi, thank you for having me. It's really exciting to be here. It's so nice to meet you and just to be part of this space. And I feel like this work is always kind of like you don't get really a lot of one-on-one, so it's exciting to connect with the community and answer questions. And I hope people also, leave comments or anything in the description. I love being in touch. And but my name is Mariza Aparcio-Tovar, creator of the Gentle Tarot. And then we have the companion deck, My Friend Fire. And I'm author, illustrator, self-published all my work, and been doing this since 2021. I feel really thankful and just so much love for the tarot community for embracing my work and supporting it all these years. And I hope that My Friend Fire, that you can feel all the love in the My Friend Fire that's coming. And yeah, I'm excited to talk about it.
Excellent, thank you. Yeah, I'm always amazed by like your updates and things. You really like do everything in house, right? It seems like there's you're running a whole business over there.
Yeah, and it's just in the last maximum like year and a half that I have some help. With correspondence and just help with the logistics and on the back end. But it's a very tiny little company. It's 3 people, so and 2 cats. But yeah, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work.
Yeah. So I mean, maybe we can start with like a little bit of the story behind maybe Gentle Tarot, but also like the series, because you're looking at creating like a series of decks associated with each element, right? Yeah. So maybe we can chat a bit about like where the motivation came from, like what inspired you, and also I'm really interested in like where you draw your creative inspiration from, because obviously, I mean, there's a lot of nature in the deck, and so I'm really curious about the creative process for you.
Okay. So the Gentle Tarot, I feel like I have to start with the Gentle Tarot. Like it started here, and I feel like I had tarot and oracle decks were like in my life, but I didn't actually own a deck of my own. Like I had a lot of friends that had decks. We had like daily practices for a while, but really I never came across a deck that didn't have symbolism, that just like didn't sit right. Like there was always some elements to it that I couldn't really like. My heart was like, wait, but like I feel like I want, like, I don't know, I just didn't want swords or any kind of patriarchal colonial symbols. And it was really important for me to also have like inclusivity and diversity in the figures in the decks. So that's where the Gentle Tarot happened. And I felt like my relationship with tarot always felt like a very like, I guess maybe, I mean, I don't know if, okay, it's hard to talk, but like, so connection with nature is a central theme in the Gentle Tarot, because I always felt like my connection with intuition and like that kind of process always felt in tune with nature. It was like before I even knew about tarot and oracle, I feel like I was kind of reading and feeling a lot of intuitive messages just like when in nature. So that's where like I think the essence of the gentle tarot comes in, with replacing pentacles with stones and swords with thunder, and just like a lot of the imagery is about like really celebrating our connection as human beings to the natural world, and like not have so much of that divide. So feel free to step in anytime if you have questions.
No, I think it's wonderful, and I really feel like that comes through in the in the deck. It's like, I don't know how to say this. It's yeah, I don't know. It feels like nature has a kind of voice in the deck. It's not just like you observing nature and illustrating nature, but I feel like through the deck you've really like captured something of the natural world. I don't know. Yeah, it just has a really special energy. So it's just, yeah, it's nice to hear about your like the way that actually that relationship with nature was like foundational and came first in a way, and that it kind of naturally, I guess it makes sense that it kind of oozed into the creation of the tarot deck.
Yeah, thanks for saying that. And I guess one reason I was just like, that's the beginning, but also like that also started way before tarot was part of my life. It's really part of just like how I grew up and like my indigenous roots and upbringing. It's like it was very central to like my perception of the world as a child. So it feels like there was no other way. There was no other way that the deck could have been. But I'm glad that you can feel it, and it is yeah, and I feel like, so the gentle tarot was kind of filling in some gaps that I felt with like having like this deck that I would want to use. And then so my friend Fire came about because in the process of creating the gentle tarot, there were a lot of well, so the tarot has its own structure. It's kind of like this archetypal journey, and there's suits, and there's a specific number of cards, and each one has like a general kind of meaning. And some of the meanings have been modified in the Gentle Tarot, but for the most part,
I actually want to talk about that, if that's okay, because that's something you just said about like how your indigenous roots really like were, I guess, a source of inspiration and motivated like the creation of the deck, and wondering like how that kind of came into the gentle tarot. So like, are there specific ways that you've reconceptualized tarot, or like particular changes that you made that reflect like that kind of cultural difference?
yeah, there definitely are. And I have to say, like during the creation process, it wasn't like a conscious, like a very like specific way of doing it. It was just like, okay, this is how the representation of this card is surfacing for me. So it was almost like after the fact that I was like, oh wow, like this is actually like decolonizing the tarot in like a very subtle, gentle way, you know? So it really just kind of happened on its own. But it's been really fun to also receive feedback and just like delve deeper into the imagery and see how each one is actually like a contrast and like bringing out its own kind of story through a decolonized lens.
Yeah. Also what you're speaking to is like shows just how important it is that we're like, I don't know, platforming decks from creators from like a really diverse range of cultures and backgrounds, and with a diverse range of identities, because I think what a little bit of what you're speaking to is how is like the way that you created the deck was a natural product of your perspective. And the problem is that we've had like white wealthy perspective centralized in tarot for hundreds of years, and maybe there's something that's like, yeah, difficult to put your finger on, but that's because it's just your like, yeah, your history and your roots coming through in the way that you've created it. And yeah, I don't know, I think that's like just so much of what we need more of, and thankfully are seeing like more of in the tarot community these days.
Yeah. Oh, it's just, I don't, and I feel like I kind of entered the scene really in 2020. So it's like I don't know what it was like before. I was like more aware of what was there, but it is really, really beautiful to see all these new decks and voices and creators, and yeah.
Anyway, you're about to talk about My Friend Fire.
Oh yeah, so I feel like the Gentle Tarot was like kind of filling in all of these gaps that I felt were in the tarot, but then in the process of creating the tarot, I started to take notes on like specific kind of questions or perspectives that weren't in the tarot. So while I was creating the Gentle Tarot, I'd be like, oh wait, but what about this? And then I would write it down. So I had like this little list by the time I was done creating the Gentle Tarot of extra cards that needed to be somewhere. Like they needed to have a life somewhere. But it took 3 years it took 3 years or maybe a little more, but like it was definitely an incubation period of like feeling what was like what I wanted to supplement the tarot with. And then when I realized that the deck that I was working on had a very kind of like focus on like your inner fire and like a very fiery element, I was like, wait, and I fell in love with Oracle. Like, I don't like the word Oracle deck. I just don't know. It's like, what do you call a deck that's not a tarot deck? But like Oracle sounds kind of like divination, which I'm not sure. But when I like in the process of creating this deck, it was just like almost like it's just totally different. It's because all of it, like the structure, the cards, it's all intuitive. There is no pre-made structure for My Friend Fire. It's like that had to kind of evolve. And it was, I mean, I'm still going through my own healing journey, but there were a few years where it was just like, wow, like it's kind of growing with me. Like the things that I was learning through my process, through different modalities like therapy, acupuncture, just like processing and like really taking the time to I mean, I didn't realize at the time, so I was like, wait, like this is taking me forever, but it's like, no, like things just take time. You know, you can't, it's like I'm kind of living it. And it was interesting because like My Friend Fire has 5 suits. It's listening, nourishment, expansion, reflection, and transformation. And I was stuck on the transformation suit for so long, and I was like, well, because I'm not transforming, you know, like I can't, like I'm not, you know. So it was really an intimate process, and I'm a little nervous. It's like, oh my gosh, like it's gonna be out in the world, but I'm also really excited to hear how people work with it. So yeah, that's how the My Friend Fire came about, and I felt like so in love with the process of creating these decks that other cards started coming up for other elements. So that's where it's like, well, maybe this is maybe this is like a whole kind of Gentle Tarot world that like stems like from this base, but is supplemented through the different elements. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Really, really beautiful idea. And yeah, I just think that I really like what you're saying about the process and things taking the time that they take. Like I'm training at the moment to be a counselor, and one of the things that my like school has these little mantras, and one of them is soul like slow, and the idea is just that like any time that we're like rushing and hurrying and pushing kind of like disconnects us from ourselves and from being able to really listen and hear our intuition and hear our inner voice. And yeah, I feel like your decks are very soulful. Like they have a really yeah, they feel very, very deep and very full of heart. And I think it sounds only right that that process would take time. You know, it's not something that you can just like bash out in a in a few weeks and then like I'm sure all of the mass market publishers would love it if you could throw out a deck every few weeks, but I feel like they would be missing something. That process, like, you know, what you're offering people is the learning and the growth that you've done, and that's an incredibly beautiful gift.
Oh, thank you. Thanks.
Okay, so the question that I have is about your your favorite card from the new deck, and if it has a particular story behind it.
Okay, let's look. Wait, let me get a deck that's not shuffled, so it's easier. I only have 2 prototype decks. Yeah, we're excited. The other ones are about to ship, and
Very cool.
But anyway, it's really hard to pick a favorite card. But it's probably from the transformation suit. I wish I could just show you all these while I was looking, but
Color palette is insanely good.
Oh, thank you.
Somehow it feels like different but very complementary with the Gentle Tarot. It's like a little bit brighter, maybe.
It is brighter. Well, it's hard to say. It's hard to pick a favorite, but I think.
Sorry, what were you saying, Mary?
What were you saying?
I was saying, like, or a card that has like a nice inspiration story behind it, or something, you know, like a nice moment in the creative process that you enjoy.
They were all so enjoyable. Like, they were all like, I guess my favorite ones, honestly, are the ones that kind of started hard, where I'm like I knew what I wanted to represent, but I didn't know exactly how. And then it just kind of happened. Like, this is one of them. It's life energy, but it's like a lot of times I'll just start with a color in the background. Like, I won't even have ideas for what the image is going to be, like the illustration will be at the end, but I'll just start with like a color in the background. But one card that I really love, and it actually has 2 in the deck, is the Rage card. In the transformation suit. This is what came to mind when I was gonna choose my favorite card, but so this is Rage, and
I love that.
This is kind of like a little seed. It could be viewed in different ways, but and then here's like an alternative, because I don't remember if it was my Patreon or Kickstarter, but this one was a little too much for them, so I kept this volcano in there just in case people want to swap it out. But Rage, I think, just has such an important part of the process, and I feel like it's a part that isn't given enough space, or just it's not really part of our culture generally. And I feel like I've been pulling it a lot too, so I just like when I had the prototype, so it just, I don't know, this one definitely has a special place in my heart.
My chest just looking at it. It's like such a so much energy in the color of the image. Just gorgeous.
Thank you.
And I think you're right, and I imagine, like, you know, it's quite a difficult journey to get to a place of connecting with your Rage, and I can see why for some people a card that's like really evocative in that way could be kind of confronting, because then you're like, ooh, I like, now I have to look at the part of me that feels Rage. And if you're I don't know if you've been like socialized to be like sweet and docile and polite, and like that's can feel like a very foreign and scary emotion, but super fucking powerful. And definitely we all need a bit of rage. Yeah, some right.
I want to share one more that just makes me happy. This one, like, I can't believe they're both in the same deck, but like this one is just like this, you know, chunky little lemming with a backpack. And anyway, there's a little bit of everything in this deck, but it's all colorful. And yeah, so I'm excited.
What do you have inside your ethereal backpack?
Oh, it's a big question.
Okay, how about what if you're off on like a space journey? What are you taking with you in your rucksack?
I'll be taking this one right here. No, I guess the first thing that came up for me was like, I think right now I have a lot of fear and I don't want to have that in my backpack right now. So like just really, you know, wanting to make time to process where it's coming from and find outlets for it too, you know. But how about you? How's your ethereal backpack these days?
Yeah, also full of a lot of extra rocks that I shouldn't really be having to carry around with me, but feels like some other people keep sneaking around the corner and putting an extra one in my rucksack. No, I asked the question, but actually it's a really hard question to answer. Like, I think the answer is just, I mean, very corny in a way, like a sense of empowerment and like connection with myself, and also grief and yeah, my love and connection for other people. Like, I think fundamentally, if I have those things with me, then I'm doing okay.
I love that.
And maybe a little splash of rage as well.
Necessary.
So one of the, like, as I mentioned in my email, the kind of focus of my shop is you know, a little bit around well, really I feel like it's trying to like build a little corner of the world in the way that I would like to see the world, which is, you know, a place where we care for the planet and we care for each other. And, you know, to do that, I've had a focus on sustainability and sustainable packaging, and also people who care about sustainable deck production practices, and, you know, stocking decks from queer creators, creators of the global majority, indigenous creators, people living with disability, like just trying to have a very like open and inclusive space. And it's very clear that those are themes that are important to you as well in your work. And I'm just yeah, I guess curious about how yeah, like how that kind of has come into and through your work, whether that's in like your creative process or in the production or in like who's represented in the deck. It just would be nice to have a little bit of a space to talk about like your intentions in connecting to those themes.
Yeah, for sure. And that's really beautiful what you're doing. I'm really happy for you and excited to like meet all the other creators and just I'm sure the community that you're building also around it. I guess I did mention a little bit about when I created the Gentle Tarot and like why I was kind of like filling in some gaps there, but really I think when I was putting it out on Kickstarter the very first time in 2020, I had no idea like what I was getting into. I just was like, oh, well, like how do you release a tarot deck? And Kickstarter seemed to be the way to go. And from the very outset, I just felt like I was like, okay, I need 200 backers. Like we need 200 backers to make this happen. And then so many more showed up, like out of nowhere from all over the world. And I just felt like, the universe was like, and I was in a place where I needed change in my life, and I didn't know that this was gonna like become my full-time job. Like I had no plans for that, but it felt like the universe was like, okay, like, we're here for it. Like, here is this is what you need to make it happen. And in that moment, it just felt like magic, but like also like a connection, like with all these people from from, I don't know, it was like 46 countries, the first one. And it just felt like I want to reciprocate, like there's no way that I can move forward in the creation of something physical without like also giving back. And like I just want, like, if this energy is flowing to me, I want to keep it flowing, like in ways that are meaningful to me. So at the outset, like, we donated, I'm not good with numbers, but it's all on my website, but like it's always been a part of our story. It's like, when we began as a business, was like we want it to be like something that's flowing and giving wherever we can. So that feels like one part of it. Like I wish, like, I feel like you were mentioning earlier, I don't know if it was before we started recording or after, but like just like wanting to like be able to participate in the world in a way, and like also not get overwhelmed, but like just like know how do we contribute, and like how do we live in a way that's in alignment with our truth, but also like hope. Like I feel like it's a hard thing to come by, but like, so yeah, but yeah, I feel like donating like as much as we can as a company every year is one way. And the majority of the organizations we donate to are like climate change focused, or like places that are impacted, but also people that are impacted not only by the climate but by colonial systems. So yeah, it feels like really important for me to do that, and for that to be part of this reciprocal energy with like the support that I'm receiving for this work to continue. But also I feel like the energy that's in the decks as well, like when I am creating, it's like sometimes it feels like the energy, like colors, I feel like have a very specific energy, and like strokes, or like the way like movement, or just different images like give off different energy. And I feel like the way that those communicate are also like kind of like my effort to put that little bit amount of drop in the world of like you said, like the kind of world that we want to live in. And I really feel that when we don't negate our truth, and when we follow it and we make the space that we deserve for it, like that is also a form of resistance and creating the world that we want. So that's like the central part of my work, and I don't think I can create anything that strays from that, just because it's important to me. And
I mean, it's a way of creating that has a lot of integrity, and it's not straightforward. Like I'm learning from just starting to set up a business, that like doing things with integrity and like sticking by your principles. Like there's so many ways that we're entangled in the like sticky fingers of capitalism, and even things like, like I realized at some point a few months ago that the bank that I'm banking with is like investing in like arms in Israel, and I was like, what the actual fuck? Like how, like everything, all these like silent decisions that we make, or maybe even made like years ago and didn't, like you just go on engaging with the same processes, like the social media platforms and the like every supplier you choose.
Yeah.
quite difficult to kind of extract yourself from all of the kind of harmful actors.
Yeah, and I mean, as a company too, it's like we're also in that process, like continually, you know, and it is an effort, and it sometimes costs more money too, you know, like we're trying to separate ourselves from Google, and now we have like another different platform, but like it's definitely a conscious decision to step away from things that, you know, we don't want to support, you know, in an effort to limit those kind of like but yeah, it is a process, and I think it's good that you're talking about it, because there are a lot of ways like are accessible to people, like even with banks and credit cards and and all of that. Like there are, you know, maybe limited options, but there's still options if we look for them.
Yeah. Something that I actually came up in another interview that I did, thinking about trying to create even just like a small page on my website for, say, like, I don't know, deck creators or shop owners or whatever in the UK, and have like a list of suppliers who have like good sustainability practices or are like family owned, or, you know, whatever. Because I think also a lot of the issue is that it's like we're so dominated by these big, huge companies. It can be actually very difficult to find the sustainable and just and like socially not harmful ways of doing of doing things. So instead of like, I feel like everybody keeps having to like reinvent the wheel and like dig out the kind of sustainable suppliers themselves, and it's taken me a long time to try and build the shop in a way that is sustainable. So I think we just need like more talking between the
resource.
Yeah,
for sure.
I can start a little blog series or something. Invite people to like share their tips and tricks.
I wish there were like people dedicated to that. Like, here, let's help transform your business. You know, because right on top of everything that we're having to deal with. But I do feel like, you know, it's important to prioritize it.
How do you see like the way that we care for people and the way that we care for the planet as being like, do you see them as being fundamentally connected?
I guess what comes to mind is like the line, the title, the subtitle is like "Heal Yourself, Heal the Earth." Mental tarot, and I think like that I feel like that kind of ties into what you're saying. You know, it's like just like reconnecting with the fact that it isn't separate, and like they both matter to each other. But
how do you see like healing yourself as being a route to like healing nature?
I guess for the way I see it is like when we truly connect with our humanity and like understand and like feel like viscerally that it is like we're like we're here as guests, like we're here to take care of the planet, you know, we're not here to take what we want whenever we want. It's like, no, like that imbalance is what is causing the mass extinction event that we're in. You know, it's like I don't think that that there's a separation, and I think that a lot of the like we're led to believe that it is super like it's like, oh, like it's just like something so far away, you know, but really it's like we're breathing air, we're drinking water. Like we need to take care of those things. So I feel like I think the message of like heal yourself, heal the earth, it's like when we can really, the one that comes to mind, the image that comes to mind is or there's a lot of them, but like when there's imagery in the Gentle Tarot where the connection with the earth is fluid. You know, it's like some of the figures are even invisible because it's portraying that like there is no divide. You know, it's like and I think that has a lot to do with mental health too, because you know, when we don't feel connected, I think is when there's a lot more opportunity for just like depression, anxiety, and you know, because we're human, and I think that, you know, capitalist systems like purposefully make you forget that, you know, and like forget like what do you actually need as a human being, like as an animal, like what do you need, you know? And I think that's stripped down so bare minimum that of course a lot of people are going to be sick, you know? So I really feel like it's yeah, it's something that is super important to me. And
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I really really resonate with that idea of like recognizing ourselves as part of nature, not in a kind of theoretical way, but like really it's quite a delusion to think that it's like us nature over here, us over here and nature over there. It's like that separation is it feels very like disconnecting from our spirituality as well in a way, because yeah, I don't know, there's something about that exchange and interdependence between you and the, like, not only like your family or the community around you, but also the natural world. Like we're being more and more and more isolated and like separated and cut away, and it's, I feel like there's a need for a sort of slow bringing like more into the circle of what you consider to be part of your being, necessary for your life.
And I think a lot of that has to do with like, you know, like exposure and like how much experience do you have with like, I don't know, it makes me think of like drinking water. It's like if you always buy drinking water, you don't actually know like where it comes from or like how important it is to like take care of its source, or like, you know, it's like that kind of that disconnect, you know. But that's like with everything. It's like I think I heard like, you know, like some children don't know that certain fruits come on trees, you know. It's like if you don't know, if you don't have that connection, how are you going to care about it?
Yeah, very good point. And just one of the reasons why it's very nice to bring a little slice of that kind of energy into the house is it's like serves as a kind of regular reminder of why it's so important to be connected with nature. And like I feel like everybody knows that after, you know, you like go for a walk in the forest and you immediately feel like 10 times more relaxed. And yeah, it's just it's wild that we neglect that, and we yeah, been so
I have to say though, like as someone who like struggles with mental health and like I go through a lot of depression and anxiety. I also like I think a big reason why the Gentle Tarot, like I understand too that disconnect doesn't necessarily have to come from like these external forces. It could also just be because like your mental health is low, you know, and it is nice to be able to just have that reminder. It's like, oh, I forgot, like I need to breathe, or I need to drink some water, like let me just go sit outside, you know, like yeah, I think that support is always good, and simple things can be big. Yeah.
yeah, okay. So you mentioned a green deck, did you, that you're working on at the moment? Because I was going to ask like what's next for you. What are you working on at the moment? But
Oh yeah, right now I'm working on the dream deck, which is
dream deck, not the green. I think the green.
yeah, like green. I'm like, hold up, I'm not there yet. No, it's the Gentle Tarot Dream Deck. This is just a prototype, but it's a version with another color, a new color palette, and white borders, and so each suit has its own kind of color scheme, and then the art has been reworked, so it's some cards more than others, and I'm almost done. It's really hard for me to be like, okay, it's done. I feel like I could keep reworking forever, but I do want to get this in, like, start printing now because the Kickstarter already happened. But yeah, I'm really excited about this deck. It has a totally different feel. It feels a lot kind of like lighter in a way, and I love how the white borders like bring out the colors, and I'm super in love with this purple of the Thunder suit. Um, but right now I'm and the new Tower card is one of my favorites. But yeah, so right now the last card actually is I'm reworking the world card. So this is a prototype, but I'm actually changing it kind of a lot. Um, so I'm excited to share about that soon. But after this, it's going into printing, and the full size guidebook that's coming out with it is going to be like rewritten and edited to kind of match the new symbolism in the dream deck, but also have the original artwork as a little thumbnail, so like you can still use this book. But
so what was like, what is it called, the dream deck?
Yeah, why is it called the dream deck?
Like, what's the story behind it?
Okay, so the Gentle Tarot was illustrated, like everything was done in 3 months, which was really, really insane. Yeah, I don't know. It was just like it all came out. So it was really quick, and I had launched the Kickstarter before I was done illustrating. So I feel like the end was a little rushed there, and there were definitely like a few cards that I always wanted to. Well, one card that I just always wanted to change, and I gotta show you if you haven't seen it online. But the High Priestess just always kind of bugged me. And like the Lovers always kind of bugged me. But so yeah, the dream deck it's basically me being like totally free with here's the new High Priestess. So this is just the dream deck is like me creating my dream Gentle Tarot deck where I don't let myself be inhibited by anything. I just be as wild as I want. And it's like I don't really think about what other people want. I just want to do what I want.
Excellent.
And it has a different card back. Just we have the fox from the 5 of Thunder on there, and the shell from the death card. But anyway, so yeah, it's I always wanted a white border deck. Like the very first Gentle Tarot before I printed this one had a white border deck when I printed it at home. So it's a limited run. It's just I just really wanted it to happen, and it is happening. But yeah, and like so this is a 10 of Stones, also changed a lot. Well, not a lot, but I think it's a lot, like
Very different.
Yeah, and there's an extra chicken, and so and so a lot of the colors were like brightened. Yeah. But anyway, yeah, and I did just make changes. The other thing about the Gentle Tarot is like as a queer person, like I didn't come out until a couple of years ago, so that I feel like it's also kind of part of my journey in that sense, you know, and like being able to have more representation than like I originally maybe gave myself permission to. So the dream deck is just like, yeah, expanding like the Gentle Tarot experience like since then, and so yeah, it makes me happy.
Wonderful. So I think more or less that's all of the like questions that I had. Is there anything else that you want to point people towards? It might be your work, it might be yeah, I don't know, anything, a cause, something that you want to speak about? Just anything we haven't covered.
Well, I feel like there's a lot to say there, but I don't really have to say anything else about my stuff or anything. I feel like we covered all of the things. But I do, like we were talking about, like you mentioned social media, and I feel like that's one of the things that as a business I would really like to get away from, but it's like we have it, we use it, but I really don't want it. And I do feel like eventually like we're gonna like stop using Instagram. So I would like people to join my newsletter community if you want to be in touch. That's like the safest, most direct way. And like I do share stuff on there that I don't share anywhere else. But I'm mostly excited for your shop and for everything you're doing. And it's really nice to see the decks behind you. Yeah, so I don't know. Yeah, I'm happy to be here.
Thanks. Yeah, thank you so much. It's been honestly just such a pleasure to chat about everything from like rage to nature, and yeah, super excited for the Micron Fire decks to get here. It's going to be just one of those, like, before when I was just like a tarot consumer and I would buy a deck for myself, that was very exciting, receiving one deck in the mail. Now I get to receive like a box of 20. Even if I'm not using them, I still feel like a huge amount of excitement. Like, feel very lucky to
and thanks for pre-ordering too. Like, we really appreciate it.
Of course. Yeah, no, it's fab. I'm like very happy to be supporting you.
Yeah.
But it's like a two-way thing, right? It's I feel
Wait,
like really.
so your box might be shipping like tomorrow. So you're probably gonna get it before my Kickstarter backers. So that's exciting.
Straight from the factory, right?
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. Wow. Well, I'm excited to hear what you think.
Yeah, yeah, wonderful. Okay, thanks so much.
Okay, thank you.